the quicker you discover what that is, the better for you. Because if you don't know who you are, why are you here? And for me, that is the only goal in life, self-acceptance and love for ourselves. And honoring our body is the best way to find that out. And really the purpose behind Skirt Club was, yes, sexuality and sexual identity, but also giving yourself the chance to really tune in to what turns you on.
Today, I have the founder and CEO of Skirt Club, Genevieve LeJeune, and this is a private, international, members-only club for bisexual and bi-curious women with live events and play parties. Genevieve is an absolute revolutionary when it comes to inspiring women to invest in their own pleasure, not only financially, but also with their time, energy, and presence. And I believe she has been one of the pioneers that has changed the landscape in our entire culture around our ability to openly talk about and own and celebrate pleasure and desire for women. This conversation is about money, it's about power, it's about sex, and I think you are going to love it. Enjoy. Welcome to Plenty. I'm your host, Kate Northrup, and together we are going on a journey to help you have an incredible relationship with money, time, and energy, and to have abundance on every possible level. Every week, we're gonna dive in with experts and insights to help you unlock a life of plenty. Let's go fill our cups.
Please note that the opinions and perspectives of the guests on the Plenty podcast are not necessarily reflective of the opinions and perspectives of Kate Northrup or anyone who works within the Kate Northrup brand.
Hello. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Kate. Nice to see you.
I'm so excited to finally meet you in person. We've been trying to meet for probably 18 months now. And with less than 24 hours notice, it was like, how about now? And there's nothing like a first meeting happening live on video. So thank you for being willing. I want to know, first of all, so you are the founder, the owner, the CEO of Skirt Club, which is an international membership for women who are bisexual or bi-curious. It's a members-only club. Over 16,000 members?
25,000 members. Yes.
Over 25,000 members. I mean, that is an amazing business. So what did you always know that you were going to start an international private members-only club for bisexual and bi-curious women?
Not in the slightest.
Like when you were 5, did you know? What I want to be when I grow up is...
No, I wanted to be a lawyer at 5.
Really?
Yeah, so this was not on the cards.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, things...
Don't you call it, what do you call them in London? Aren't they called something different?
Solicitor.
Solicitor, yeah. Solicitor. Yeah.
Yes. No, I had never expected this career. No.
No.
Another had anyone. I think it's the first of its kind.
Yeah. You're a total original.
Yes.
Yeah. And how long ago did you start it?
It's been 11 years.
It's been 11 years.
Yep. 2013, London. That's when I incorporated Skirt Club Limited.
Amazing. And what was the seed of this business?
Myself. I was frustrated with what was on offer for somebody who identified as bi. I couldn't find my own community. It didn't seem to exist. I had been to lesbian bars, didn't feel so welcome. And I had been to straight bars and got frustrated with men, constantly hitting on me, and had ended up just living out in gay bars in Soho, London, feeling comfortable there with just really open-minded people. And that's where it all began.
The gay bars are the best places. I spent all of my 20s in gay bars.
Yes. Yeah. I'm still spending all my time in gay bars.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, so you were looking for a place to meet your community.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, it's not, there's not like bi bars and these other places. I'm not finding them. And so how did you start? What was the first iteration of Skirt Club?
It was just a party in my flat in Shoreditch, London.
Yeah.
For some women I'd met just like me. And it actually was born from a play party I attended.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to find bi women, so I figured if I went to a play party with
You would find-
my
yeah.
boyfriend, I would find her and make friends and then not feel so lonely in this world. And so I did. I found 3 friends, and between the 3 of us, we invited other friends, and so we multiplied. And what was the 15 people in August 2013 was very soon 100 people in February, 150 people in February 2015. That's when things got really big.
And obviously you swiftly outgrew your flat. Did you only have one event in your own home?
About 3, and then someone broke the sofa bed, so we went. Had to get out of there.
That's funny. That's amazing. And so it picked up quickly, which means it was a good idea. It means it was obviously a need in the marketplace. Did you have any reservations? Were you nervous about anything getting started in a business around sexuality?
Yes, 100%. I mean, at the time I was working in finance, this was not done, and we were all scared of being found out. There's a lot of stigma around bisexuality back then. I know it's only 11 years ago, but really times were so different. Women being sexually open, enjoying pleasure, and identifying as anything but straight or gay was confusing and questionable, about her. Did that make her slutty? Did that make her greedy? Did that mean, if she was forward? And those things were just not deemed qualities in the UK. So I was also embracing sex positivity as well as sexuality and sexual identity. And it was really hard for women to choose the label bisexual. So I went first. And to do that, I had to create a pseudonym. And I created Genevieve. And then my real self could continue working at Bloomberg, where that would not have been all right. And Genevieve created the Skirt Club, and she hosted events, and she was a personality, she dressed a certain way, she behaved a certain way. And
That's so fun.
yeah, brought out my inner diva. Yeah.
So feel free. And by the way, I didn't mention this, but if I ask you anything that you don't want to answer, just, you can pass and then we can edit out.
Yeah.
And always answer however you want to. But do you continue to live in some parts of your life as your given name, and then in some parts as as Genevieve?
Absolutely. I mean, my world is 2 halves.
2 halves. Yeah.
And Kate, I don't mind saying that my real name is actually Kate.
I know that actually.
So we're twinning on that front.
I love another Kate.
Yeah.
Solid name.
Nice English Kate, she's very unassuming. And she dresses like this, not as a diva. She plays by the rules and has had a great career and done whatever her parents asked of her to be a good girl.
How long did you work at Bloomberg after you started Skirt Club?
Really just 3 months. So there was a bit of overlap.
And then it just took off.
No, actually, I moved to a branding agency.
Okay.
So I had another career separate from journalism. I was in financial journalism, and then I moved into branding and advertising. And all the while, I'm running Skirt Club parties at the weekend. So.
How long before Skirt Club became your full-time, I'm doing this and I'm no longer having a full-time job?
It was year 2.
Year 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's really important, when you're building a company, you cannot rely on any income with a startup. You have to assume there is none.
Yeah.
And for me, not the first 5 years, it was tough. So I always had another way to keep the bills paid.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you for saying that, that for 5 years.
Yeah.
You were not seeing, significant take home, right? And that you were able to stick with it. Why do you think you were able to go for 5 years? And was there any point at which you wondered, should I be throwing in the towel? Because I get this question a lot from people. How do I know when this thing isn't viable? How long should I go?
Well, I mean, if you went to business school, that would be year 2 that you should give up.
Oh, really?
But
I did not go to business school.
Yeah, neither did I. So I went,
Perfect.
And for me, Skirt Club was a passion project. It wasn't a business initially. So I was doing it with pleasure. It was not ever viewed to me as a company or a money-making machine. I mean, those things never came in to the conversation. I was making money with my career and I was doing this for fun at the weekends. And that happened for 2 years until I could not cope any longer with the pressures and I had to make a decision which it was going to be.
Yeah.
And really, I was taking a bet on women, their ability or their want to invest in themselves.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, women did not do that. That the investment was in a handbag or a pair of stilettos, or Jimmy Choos were it. That
Trying
was
to take myself back to 2015. Like, what was I? Yeah, I was having my first child. I mean, I've always invested in myself, but I come from a women's empowerment family where it's like, that was just, I grew up like at women's empowerment workshops. So that's different. But I think that you were obviously a real pioneer in, hey, your pleasure matters. Your desire matters. Like, let's put our money towards that. What do you think it is about our culture that has made it such that even only 10 years ago, women were not investing in themselves, especially around sex and desire?
shame.
Yeah.
Shame. We were just so ashamed of admitting that we enjoyed sex. So even buying a vibrator was taboo. Of course, now you can pick one up in CVS, but no, the world has changed so much, really. I'm so happy to have been part of that as well.
I know, that's the thing. Like, it's like the world has changed so much and you have been part of that. I mean, you've been at this forefront. I mean, of course, I took a class with, I don't know if you know Betty Dodson.
Yes.
Yeah. So like there have been pioneers all along, right? Like in the 60s and the 70s. And I mean, Betty Dodson was like having women circle up in the 70s and like use vibrators together and check out their pussies. And, you know what I mean? But like, right. So like, she was like major trailblazer.
I like her.
Yeah. Oh my God. She's such a badass. She showed up at this workshop with her, like, she was at the time, I think, in her 70s, and she showed up with her boyfriend who was in his 30s, and they taught together. It was amazing. And I was in my 20s at the time, and I was like, wow, anything is available, But what was required inside you to, you talked about creating a pseudonym and an alter ego, or I don't know how you would describe it, which I love so much. There's so much permission in that.
So much.
Is there anything else that you would want to share about unraveling your own shame patterning to become and step into this pioneer to help change our entire culture?
Yeah, it took a second personality to do that. Because I was very shy growing up, and it was very easy to embarrass me, and I didn't speak up. I'm a very quiet, quite introverted person. So, I'm asking of Kate to be the complete opposite and become Genevieve. And I tell you, the stilettos worked. They really empowered me.
The stilettos worked?
Yeah, they really worked. As soon as they slipped on, I was...
So you just change your shoes. Change your shoes, change your identity.
Yeah. That worked for me.
Costumes.
Really? I mean, that's what I was doing, like an actor would.
It's fabulous.
I was becoming a different personality, a different archetype, another side of myself, which was still myself.
Yes.
But it had never had a chance to shine or being given permission to, as you pointed out earlier. A lot of this is about permission.
What I'm fascinated by in what you're describing is that I think so commonly, at least in my world, it's like, oh, I have this good girl programming. Oh, I have this shame. Oh, I whatever. So in order to explore these new vistas, I need to change this in me. And it sounds like for you, please correct me,
Extrapolate?
No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Expound upon but like, it sounds like you weren't putting pressure on yourself to have to change who you are. You decided to just fully, somewhat on command with a new name and different shoes, allow yourself to just go ahead and explore those things without having to wait to unravel some sort of programming. And that's kind of a revolution.
Yeah, I guess I stepped right into it.
Yeah. was just like, how about today?
Yeah. It was a bit like that. I really just woke up one morning and went, Skirt Club. Yeah.
The name came to you.
Right. It woke up. It was in a dream. It just came right to me. And immediately the thing just fell together perfectly. It was, it sounds a bit too easy, but
sometimes the best things are.
I just knew.
It's so great.
Yeah. And nothing seemed difficult to imagine. It was like, yeah, it's going to be like this. Genevieve will run it. It'll be luxurious and the website will be dark and sexy. And very quickly the logo came together and I led and women followed because they needed someone to pave the way. And I was very happy to do that. And I enjoyed being a pioneer of what felt like a movement.
Yeah.
I think it was,
Continues to be.
Yeah. Yes. It's just so widespread now. Bisexuality is not so, it's quite normalized, and I've helped normalize it. But yes.
Yeah. And I think probably increasingly the communities you're spending time with and, the conversations you're part of. And even, we watch this somewhat ridiculous show called Virgin River. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's basically, it's essentially a soap opera and Mike tolerates it.
Oh, Mike.
Just because there's enough medical emergencies and thriller sort of moments. But in it, the other day there's a sewing circle in it, and there was all these older ladies, and they had an episode where they were all talking about the best sex that they had ever had, and I was reflecting on it was a cute scene, and I was reflecting on how that kind of conversation, especially being had by older women in a mainstream television show, that's new. That's an indicator of a significant cultural shift. Because, when I was growing up, we had the Golden Girls, right? They weren't explicitly talking about sex in any way. And had they been, it would have been like, but all these older women were not only talking about the best sex they had ever had in their previous lives when they were young women, they were talking about the best sex they were having of their lives currently, current day.
Huh.
And I thought that was really, really cool and just an indication of how much we have shifted, So let's talk about more brass tacks. What is Skirt Club? What happens at the events but for folks listening who are like, what the heck are you talking about? What is this? Do women just get together and talk about being bisexual, or what's happening?
So this is where you might need to add the tag explicit on this particular episode. Well, sex is happening.
Yeah.
And yes, women can have sex with one another and find it pleasurable. In fact, orgasmic. I would say I've witnessed over 1,000 orgasms at this point, having hosted, a good 400 to 500 parties. It's been great. It's I've seen women liberated, seeing women just do things because they want to, not stop and question whether they should, and creating that space for them to do it. It's been wonderful. And typically what happens at our signature party, which is the one everyone wants to talk about the most, which is a play party. That means sex party. And women will show up, typically dressed up in the theme. For example, I'm flying to LA next week. We're doing a high priestess theme. So that's the dress code.
Actually, really, just at the time of this recording, LA is experiencing devastating wildfires. And I just want to say, I'm sidelining the conversation, but
Sure.
I think it's related.
Yeah.
Which is there is something really beautifully healing about sexual energy. So timeliness-wise, I'm so glad you're bringing not only sexuality, but also high priestess sexuality energy into the devastation that's going on in Los Angeles right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's obviously it's very sad what's happening with the fires.
Awful.
And I checked in with the team last night. And do we still want to go ahead? Because I don't know how are you feeling over there? And the consensus was we need something.
Exactly. Right? We choose life, and sexuality is life force.
It is.
Yeah.
Or
And
it
there's
really is.
nothing more healing. There's nothing more powerful than women's sexuality. It is literally responsible for all of human life. And so I just wanted to say, really glad that's happening in Los Angeles next week. that makes me feel better about what's going on there right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So high priestess. So
High
like
priestess.
what might one wear?
So a typical evening, you know, we open doors at 8 p.m. The members will arrive typically alone, right? That's not typically an event you bring your best friend to or your sister. It's
Totally.
private.
Yes, it's not like a book club.
Yeah, we're going to do private things. And obviously they're quite nervous because
Yeah.
they're doing something they've never done before, and they're going to a place they've never been to before, to meet women they'd never met before. You know, all the things your mother tells you not to do.
Right.
So,
although with women, there is like an element of safety. Like, I don't know.
yes.
Like going out to like a strange place with all men would feel deeply terrifying. But when it's women, it's like, okay.
Yeah, there's a safety factor
There's
in
an
a women-only
element, yeah.
club.
Yeah.
And I'm very strict about that
I'm sure
being
you are.
down to the security person, the bar back, you know.
All women.
All women. And, you know, venue owners are, you know, told not to return until the morning. Like, I'm very strict about that as well.
Great.
And yes, they feel put out, but, you know.
It is what it
It
is.
is what I'm not changing it for you, darling. Yeah, so they'll arrive dressed usually to the nines because dressing for women is something else.
That is why we dress.
Yes, I'm glad you see this because, you know, women.
100%. I'm like so clear. I get way more dressed up for dates with my girlfriends than for my husband.
Right. Yeah, and we're going to
100%.
notice the details. We're going to compliment and coo and
Absolutely.
appreciate. And that's just so fulfilling to be seen and noticed for the effort you put into that evening's attire. And they put a lot of effort in that. I mean, our most popular question on our customer service desk is, what do I wear?
100%.
Not what's going to
I
happen
mean,
to
that
me.
is also the most important part of the group chat before a dinner, before a girls' trip. Like, what are we wearing?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I've been talking about it for a week for a dinner that's happening tonight with my girlfriends, whose husbands also happen to be coming. But it's really about us.
Yeah, irrelevant.
I
the
love
husbands.
that that's your most common customer service question. What do I wear?
Yeah, and so for that reason, we've always added a Pinterest board to help,
Oh, fun.
you know, to aid with that.
Yeah.
Which I've noticed now is other memberships are using as well because it's so helpful to guide and steer.
100%.
With women are concerned. So back to the party. Yeah, they'll show up on time, which is great.
Yeah.
8 p.m. And,
Great.
you know, apart from Miami, they're
Yeah,
always
Miami, it's like
it's a
they
little
show
hour
up at
late.
11, like who knows what's happening.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in like London and New York, everyone's on time.
Yeah, and I should add we're in 36
And
cities,
Berlin.
right? So we're,
Yeah.
you know, even LA shows up on time for this one, which is great. And you know, I have hostesses about between 5 and 6 who are going to be there to greet and quickly help you make new friends. Because we're nervous and we want to also get that conversation started. There's free flowing champagne and cocktails, of course, usually themed as well. And so after an hour or so of meet and greet, we have a performance. I'll say a few words. We'll talk around consent. Of course, safety is paramount, and so is privacy. I'll remind everyone that what we learn at Skirt Club stays at Skirt Club. And yeah, then we play some games.
Yeah.
Couple of icebreakers.
Cool.
We'll spin the bottle. Body tequila is my favorite. Typically,
is it called?
Body tequila.
Body tequila. How does that go?
Or typically the clothes come off in order to be the body.
Yeah.
Tequila is, there's salt lined up and there's lime in the mouth, and I race 3 girls up her body to down the
Amazing.
tequila, and
And off we go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the clothes usually stay off. So
Fun.
yeah, and then we delve into a little sexual play,
Amazing.
and it's beautiful to listen to.
I'm sure it is. That must be an amazing soundtrack. Now, you don't go to all the parties because that would be impossible.
Well, yes, it almost killed me in 2020.
Like,
I did.
Just from like a scalability. Now it's like
Yeah.
we're moving now to scalability. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you know, and when did you know that you could no longer actually be there for everything?
Well, thanks to COVID, really. It's sort of the pandemic
Oh.
arrived, and I sat down for the first time in what would have been 6 years then, and couldn't get
You
back up
had
again.
been to every party for 6 years.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah, and during
All
that time,
over the world.
right? Australia, Shanghai. You know, we really expanded, and
Are all the parties, I mean, I guess this doesn't really, maybe this is a silly question, but like if I were to go to a party in Berlin, like does it matter that I don't speak German?
well, actually, it's mostly Americans in Berlin.
Okay.
Our events there. Yeah,
Okay.
we really
Is
attract
that
the
true?
expats.
Oh, you, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because our dress code is very feminine. It's high femme.
Yeah.
And Berlin is very much Doc Martens and leather, and so it doesn't fit. So what happened with our members there is it attracted all expats really.
And is that true in most cities or no?
Okay, so here's the interesting part with English speaking cities. We'll call them Western. So Australia, UK, and America and Canada, it's the people who live in the city.
Right.
It's the locals. But where it comes to any European city or South American, we're in Buenos Aires now, it is very much the expat community.
Okay.
Religion plays a role.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, and therein lies the thread to most of the shame.
Yeah.
Is our religious programming. And I'm a God girl, like I'm very spiritual. However, the shame around any kind of sexuality, but particularly the female body, is largely rooted in the church. And it makes sense that in, a more religious community, this would just be absolutely unthinkable. Yeah. Any play party, quite frankly, but then particularly women only.
Yeah, and just enjoying pleasure, full stop, whether it's with the same gender.
With yourself, with another human of any gender. Right. Yeah. So women who are showing up are already there, right? Like you're not having to do this deprogramming, unraveling work with them. Like by the time they show up at a party, like obviously they're nervous, they don't know, but it's like, they've worked on their own stuff enough to get there.
Yeah, they've been looking for us.
Yeah,
and then they found us.
That's so cool. I found you through Wednesday Martin.
Oh, yes, of course. We feature in her book.
Yes. Yeah. So I had her on for her book Untrue many years ago. I think that book came out maybe in 2017, 2018. And then somehow from following her on Instagram, I started following Skirt Club. So I've been aware of you for a very long time. And then through my social circle in Miami, somebody mentioned that they knew you. And I was like, oh my God, I want to meet her. So
I live down the road.
I've been aware of you for a very long time, aware of your work, not aware of you.
Yeah.
And then when it came up, because it's been interesting moving to Miami. So I'm from a small town in Maine.
Oh.
And it is a much more buttoned up community. Maine, all of New England is much more similar to the UK in terms of just being uptight. And I mean, that's not a personal judgment against you, but like just culturally.
That's how the UK is.
It's just how it is, right? And so when I came to Miami, it was so interesting. This sort of conversation, like I don't know anybody in Maine who's having threesomes in their marriage, who's having an open marriage, who's also sleeping with women. Like nobody. Now, it doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm just not aware of them. However, in Miami, it's it's certainly not everyone, but it's way more common than I ever expected. And so that's been really fun to just have this conversation be more part of the zeitgeist. Like Skirt Club would not fly in Portland, Maine yet, but I hope someday that Portland, Maine would be able to open up to that. But it's interesting just to what you're talking about like cultures and different cities in the world where this would work and would not. Have you had cities open up and then close down because it just didn't have the support culturally or population-wise?
You're going to love this. Boston and Chicago.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
I'm sorry, guys, but
I'm not surprised about Boston in the least.
Yeah.
So I grew up 2 hours from Boston.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Similar vibe.
Right.
Right.
So
exactly.
Boston are like, please let us travel to New York for the events.
Yeah.
I'm not signing up on the website under Boston. I'm signing up under a different city. But we have lots of women coming through.
From Boston.
Yeah.
But they don't want to do it in Boston.
No.
Do you think it's mostly a privacy issue?
It's the shame again, the stigma and shame. And similarly, an issue with DC, which we stopped, and then started again. Now, that was more careers, people working at the White House or in politics, government, do not want to bump into a colleague, will not take that risk, happy to get on the train for 3 hours instead and come to New York.
Yeah.
So
New York is the greatest city of anonymity.
Yeah.
It just is.
No one gives a flying fuck in New York. It's great. I love those women. They have their own money and their own power, and they do what they like. It's my favorite party.
Really?
In the whole world. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
They strut right in with a strategy. And I watched them beeline for the pretty one at the bar. And typically that's how, within the first throes of passion, it's typically the first person you met or connected with, right?
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
and they're dressed to the nines, it's haute provocateur lingerie. It's the stilettos are divine. They have attitude.
Yeah,
And,
the fashion's good there.
yeah.
Yeah. I took I'm sure you know Regina Thomas Hauer, Mama Gina, or of her.
Yes. Yes.
So I took Regina's mastery program 4 times in New York. And while it is not at all the same thing as what you do, it's certainly adjacent.
Yeah.
And she would have courtesan weekend or night, or I don't exactly remember, but and I was young. I started taking her programs when I was 22. So it was like 22 to 26 was when I was in her programs. And it was such a cool education because so many of the women were older and so successful, just witnessing sexuality through different ages and through different life stages and seeing the way women expressed themselves and what when she would invite us to dress as a courtesan, the invitation is essentially dress in a way that makes you feel like a goddess, that makes you feel sexy, that turns you on. So dress for your own turn on. And the variety and the diversity of that is astounding.
Right.
And I would imagine you see that in your parties too, because just like every human is so different, our sexuality is going to be different. And our erotic blueprint, which is like a specific Jaya thing, but like I actually mean that in a different context. Like what would turn us on would be very unique.
Yeah, it is. And the quicker you discover what that is, the better for you. Because if you don't know who you are, why are you here? And for me, that is the only goal in life. Self-acceptance and love for ourselves. And honoring our body is the best way to find that out. And really the purpose behind Skirt Club was, yes, sexuality and sexual identity, but also giving yourself the chance to really tune in to what turns you on. And women never did that for themselves. They were so busy pleasing, taking care of others. And as much as that is beautiful in our nature, we didn't serve ourselves. We served others with an empty cup. And Skirt Club really provided that ability to fill your cup. Find your own happiness without him. And that was very controversial at first because most of our members are in a long-term relationship with a man, partnered or married. And at the beginning, he did not know about Skirt Club. These days, it's different. He's very supportive. Times have changed. But, she'd come in secret.
Which makes it a little more exciting, actually.
Well, yeah, very. But also shaking at the door nerves.
Also, maybe not. I mean, I'm not saying that's better. I'm just saying, like, it adds an element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to my point about finding your own happiness, I was asking women to be selfish. And that word landed so hard, even for me. I was asking myself to be selfish by choosing a career that was about pleasure, that didn't earn me an income, that meant I had to rely on my now ex-husband to support me. I was asking favors. I didn't enjoy that. I didn't like being a burden. No woman does.
Did you feel like you were a burden when you were being supported as you built your dream?
Absolutely.
And was that the dynamic in that relationship, or was that just a feeling inside you?
No, that was made clear.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I also like to contribute.
Yes.
I like to play fair. I'm about equality.
Yeah.
I want women to have pleasure as men have for centuries. And so I'm encouraging her. And think back to 2015, at a time where women's rights were questioned. 2016, we were marching in the streets. Feminism was rife. We were demanding equality, yet we had it legally. We just weren't, in reality, it wasn't playing out. And I found sex a beautiful way for women to really step up to the plate and ask for what they want, because it's the hardest thing for women to do in the bedroom. I would like to be pleasured this way. I enjoyed these things. Voicing it was difficult.
Yeah.
So in a group of women, you feel safe. You tune in, you find out what it is you really love, because you've never done that before. You listen to your own body, and then you find the vocabulary to express, and then you take that home.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And then you're empowered.
Yeah. I'm sure this is very helpful for not monogamous, heterosexual marriages.
Definitely.
Like-
70% of members are married at Skirt Club.
Yeah, no, that's really beautiful. What a service. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to know, you went on, this is like, I'm going hard left, but it's related
Yeah.
because so you built this incredible business. I mean, 25,000 members worldwide is astounding. So I used to have a membership. We had over 1,000 members. And for my industry, that was like pretty big. 25,000 is incredible. And I know you, I'm sure you know this because this is your world. Like when we have a subscription model, it's a 10x valuation for a company. So what you've built is not only so powerful from a women's empowerment perspective, from a sexual healing perspective, but also just financially. Like that's an incredible model.
Yeah.
So I just like, you're awesome. That's so cool. And how did you find, like, has it been mostly word of mouth? What has been your primary avenues for marketing?
Well, we're deemed an adult business. We're classed 18 plus. We can't advertise.
Exactly.
Right? So there is no marketing. It's called word of mouth, which is extremely organic.
Yeah.
And you rely on your members to spread the good word. And and you show them a great time. And they can't help but spread positive vibes about the thing that brought them the most pleasure.
But is that tricky because of the I mean, obviously it's not because you have such a robust business, but have you ever run into it being tricky because of the privacy aspect that there will be some women, right? Because they're not bringing their best friend necessarily. They're not bringing their sister. So like, who are they telling? Because maybe they don't want to tell the moms at drop off. For example.
No, especially that. I mean, we've had an incident when a member
geez.
bumped into another member at the school gate.
Just like, hey.
And then we had and this is so wild. We had a Daily Mail article in Australia where a Melbourne mom had started organising a hotel romp after the school gate drop off so that they could get together. So it can go either way.
Amazing.
Of course, that made the news.
Yeah, of course it did.
Yeah. So, God, remind me what the question was again. The membership business.
I was asking, like, have you ever run into trickiness around privacy with word of mouth because women may not always want to tell people they know?
Yes, absolutely. It's a secret, But when she does tell someone, they sign up because
there's got to be something in that conversation that made her know that this was going to be someone who would want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually just brilliant from a marketing, like, because the secrecy is so interesting, it makes us all want to lean in.
Right.
And then when you're sharing that with someone, it's not like your favorite eye cream, because like, whatever, I tell anybody what eye cream I use, like it's a golden nugget that you would take so much more seriously in terms of a recommendation, because you would know that they're not posting that on their Instagram. They're not, I mean, for many people, right? Not everyone, but many people.
Yeah, and also on that note, a lot of people are afraid to follow our Skirt Club Instagram account in case they see someone they know and they know that they're following. And we're still hung up on this.
Yeah.
The privacy is paramount for women, but it prevents us from really doing any kind of marketing.
So the women do it for you.
Yeah, well, they do what they can, right? Think about the amount of press Skirt Club has had. We've been in 350 publications. We've never had a PR person. This is a very talked about topic, yet that is our only real avenue for spreading the word.
Yeah.
And with 25,000 members, you could argue there should have been 250,000 by this point.
100%.
Had we had the ability to market.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yes. However, like growing a membership of any nature to that size it is quite remarkable, especially when it's niche. It's not like a fitness membership where like, yeah, everyone needs to work out. Like not everyone is going to want to attend this sort of event. I mean, I think she should, but You know.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, there's my curiosity and there's willingness to discuss, talk, share, and connect. And then there's going to a sex party.
Yes.
And that's a whole nother step. So we're attracting the brave and the courageous, the ones who've already accepted themselves.
Yes.
That's a very niche market.
It really is. It is quite leading edge because even the women I was with at Mama Gina's, you know, they were in a class that was about using pleasure to have their way with the world. So like they were already that far, but I do not think the vast majority of those women, certainly at that time, and we're talking, you know, 15 years ago now, would have taken this next step. And luckily it's a different time now, but it's like you are really working with the brave and the bold.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
They're badass.
What a great, like what a great customer.
Yeah.
Because if she's taking ownership of her pleasure, her desire, her sexuality, imagine the other ways in which she's using her power in the world. Like, I mean, those are the women that are going to be the ones at the forefront, I hope, of what the next era is that we're creating as humanity.
Yeah, well, they're influencers in their own way, you know. Not on Instagram, but within their circles. And I love that. They've also supported me, encouraged me. You know, when we wanted to build our own website, I needed to raise money. And so I did a very small crowdfunding with the current membership and raised, you know, a 20K, which allowed me to build a site. And I did pre-sales. I sold future memberships to them.
Smart.
Yeah. So, you know, that's how I went about it. I couldn't go to a bank and get a loan. I couldn't even have a bank account. You know, I've been now banned from 5 banks because, you know, sex.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
And could you have gone the VC route and done raises that way, more in a quote unquote traditional way?
So very recently,
Theoretically.
very recently I've been raising capital again now to build an app.
Yeah.
So I did go the VC route and got a hard no. This was too taboo.
Got it.
But the person I'm talking to is privately interested. You know, so it's really that's
So
how
they're
you go
like, I
about
can't
it.
represent this with my fund because publicly I can't be associated with it, but also I'd like to come to one of your parties.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the vibe
And
we're
my
talking
wife,
about? Or my wife would like to go.
where can my girlfriend signed up? And I've heard about you. That often we've heard about Skirt Club. My girlfriend really wants to go. Can you get her in? I'm like, yeah, of course. She just needs to sign up on the website. It's okay.
But I can't fund you.
Yeah.
What does that feel like for you?
Oh, it's a kick in the teeth. You know, it's like being told you're invalid.
Yeah.
That sex can't be a business. But everybody has sex.
And sex is used to sell everything.
Right.
So sex is a business. Well, it's also the oldest profession.
Isn't it just?
So there's that.
So it stood the test of time. And, you know, when the economy is down, guess what still sells?
Yeah.
You know, recession proof. We had our biggest spike in memberships during COVID.
Well, because I'm curious about that. What did you do with the parties during that time?
Well, we couldn't host any
course.
events in person, but we did online. I mean, that's a great way to catch.
Wow.
We did online, and then for the first time, we started hosting online events.
Okay.
And we realized we had an opportunity here too.
Cool.
So it actually sprouted a new
And do you
avenue.
still host online events?
Yeah, it's called Pillow Talk. Join us on Tuesday evenings once a month.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and we can
so
share.
it created a whole new arm of offerings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can reach women that maybe wouldn't be ready to attend a party, but would go to that.
Yeah, and there are more of those, quite
Of course
honestly.
there are. Yes.
You know, just looking in from the outside, can I attend? And a lot of that's spurned our next venture, which is the app. Which,
Yeah, tell me about it.
we realized that women actually wanted to meet socially as well, and more so. So those who are just, you know, just curious, probably identifying as straight even, they wanted to make friends who were open-minded and, you know, keen to discover, but let's talk about it and let's connect as friends.
Yeah.
So we launched a new app. It's called Sexuality. It's on the App Store and on Google Play. And it invites the curious and questioning to come forward, make friends, and connect in different ways using archetypes to just explore all their feminine attributes.
What kind of archetypes?
Well, Carl Jung's feminine archetypes, of which we possess most, and sometimes don't get to explore all. So we pair you with women who have potentially the opposite or the same. You decide.
So cool.
And then you can explore those growth edges together, because femininity has many aspects. And as you see with Kate and Genevieve, there's two of us, but there are more inside also.
I love that. What a great concept. You told me a little bit about how you raised funds to build the app, and I'm really interested to know more about why you chose that avenue, because with the app, since it's not about sex, you could have gone the VC route, but you decided not to. Tell me why.
Well, I tried the VC route. I just got a hard no.
Fantastic.
Got a hard no, not too taboo.
Yeah.
And I'm still like,
It's
not even a dating app. It's a community app,
It's about women and friendships and connecting. How is that taboo?
Yeah, I think they just look at, anyway, I'm out. So I also don't need men, it turns out. I looked to the women who've supported me until now, and I'm like, let's go the crowdfunding route again. Women should own their future. They should invest in themselves. It's really important also for her to get her head around that, because it's women, they're so used to things being paid for, that they need to know that they have no say unless it's their own money on the table.
Yes. Money, sex, and power are all interconnected. And the way we interact with one is the way we interact with another. And when we heal and shift the way we're interacting with our sexual energy, it can, if we allow it to, heal and change the way we're interacting with our money and our power. One of my mentors, Barbara Hewson, says that women's ambivalent relationship with money is because of their ambivalent relationship with their power. And I would imagine that the same holds true about sexuality.
Absolutely. You got to own it.
You've got to own it.
Yeah.
100%. And one of the things I love to think about is that not only do we need to own it, and I do think that's the first step, for me, the next step has been about actually stewarding it, so that I'm relating to money or my power or my sexual energy, not so much as mine, but more as a current that can run through me, and increasing my capacity to allow it to run through me, and also to guide it and shape it and steward it. And that's really allowed me to turn up the volume on how much I can handle across all aspects of my life.
That's interesting.
So anyway, for whatever it's worth, which leads me to my question about your recent, well, at this point, it's been over a year, but recent-ish sailing trip. And what I was so interested when I saw this on your Instagram, and you're like taking off very spontaneously. What inspired you to do that trip? What happened? And what did you learn about yourself as a result?
Okay, well, the inspiration came, from a romance, as all good sexual energy does. And I'm going to build a business on sexual energy. I can sail an ocean.
Yeah.
I met a boy, and he had sailed his boat across the Atlantic from Portugal to Brazil, and he was passing through Miami for Loveburn, if you've ever been to that festival.
I haven't, but I know of it.
Great. And we met on a yoga mat, and he said, listen, I'm sailing back, this time Brazil to Cape Town. Would you like to come? And I thought, yes, please. That sounds like the kind of risk I love. High risk. And by the way, I sort of identify as an HSS, which is a highly sensation seeker.
As opposed to an P, highly sensitive person. I just said an HSA, which is a health savings account. So totally different, but HSS, got it.
Yeah, so, where there's risk, I'm usually found. And it keeps life interesting, on edge. So, I guess our second date was a 25-day Atlantic crossing. And I was, really intrigued by what it would be like. I'd never been on a sailboat. There were 4 of us in this 40-foot tiny vessel. It was incredibly uncomfortable.
Yes.
But I learned so many things about myself, because for the first time in probably decades, I was without a phone. And you really need to check in with your body when you get to check in with your body. There's nothing to distract you, and especially on night watch, you're very alone. Well, you're with the stars.
Yeah.
And they are beautiful at night, truly.
Yeah. My most favorite thing was night watch. I was sharing that I was on a schooner, 134-foot schooner, crewing for about 2 months, and night watch on the bow was my most favorite thing. And I would just sing the whole time.
So lovely.
It was just the greatest. And with like the phosphorescence sometimes and unbelievable. Okay. So you were without a phone for 25 days. And then you said when you got to Cape Town, you didn't even want to get off the boat.
Not really, because I knew I'd have to go back to the stress of keeping up with everything or firefighting situations. And, you know, I just spent 10 years running my own business, which any other entrepreneur will identify with as the hardest job ever, because you never work harder for anyone than yourself. And I'm a hard taskmaster on me. And I finally hired this team in London who were able to handle the day-to-day without me. So I was able to escape for a month and disappear. And they were wonderful, holding the fort.
Amazing.
And when I got back, I just didn't want to, I knew I wanted to change the way things were. I felt sick about going back to just 12-hour days, and it didn't feel like it was worth it anymore. Yeah. So I chose life, and I have a very different approach now. I turn my phone off at the weekends, and I work because I enjoy working. And I don't really see it as work, which is beautiful. And I get support. And I've learned to ask for help. And that was another one I was definitely struggling with prior to the crossing.
Wow. So are you working less, would you say, or are you just working in a different way?
I'm working in a different way with a team of 5.
Beautiful.
Not solo entrepreneur, which
yeah,
is not a healthy choice, by the way. Yeah.
Not as soon as you can make a different choice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime we're choosing to do things alone when we have an alternative is generally not a healthy choice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So beautiful. Thank you for being here today. This was an amazing conversation.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's so bold what you have done with your business. And I know that you have just set thousands and thousands and thousands of women free. And it's just incredible.
And that makes me so happy.
So where can people find your work, connect with your different businesses and what you're up to?
Okay, well, if you fancy a sexy event, then come to skirtclub.co.uk. And if you want to connect with other like-minded women, then go to Skirt Society app, which is on the App Store and on Google Play.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for being here. All the links will be in the show notes. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Kate.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Plenty. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. That's one of the best ways that you can ensure to spread the abundance of plenty with others. You can even text it to a friend and tell them to listen in. And if you want even more support to expand your abundance, head over to katenorthrup.com/breakthroughs, where you can grab my free money breakthrough guide that details the biggest money breakthroughs from some of the top earning women I know, plus a mini lesson accompanying it with my own biggest money breakthroughs and a nervous system healing tool for you to expand your abundance. Again, that's over at katenorthrup.com/breakthroughs. See you next time.